All right, my friends, so I just got my third jury summons of the year. I served on of the last 12 months. Come on, bud. I served on a jury. I didn't serve on a jury, but I wasn't called. I was down there for the whole day as they figured out who was going to be called on a jury in Fulton County I want to say it was last November or something like that. I got a summons again in May. I couldn't make it, forgot why. I think it was the time, yeah, it was when I was getting my rotator cuff surgery. And then I just got my third one. It always kind of cracks me up when I get these jury summons, and I served on a jury when we lived in Texas, because I'll never forget the prosecutor. They see a white middle-aged guy who's a veteran, and they assume that I'm going to be for the prosecution, and I just always kind of cracks me up because I literally believe you're innocent until proven guilty. Thus, I always assume the defense will be. I always assume innocence of the defense every single time. And in fact, I find the prosecution in America has way too much power. And because that, we have seemed to put the law on his head here where you got to prove your innocence. Anyway, so when I served on a jury in Texas, it was funny because, go on, buddy. There's a Spanish lady who was being accused for, I think it was selling dope, or I can't remember what the whole thing was. And I'll never forget, they had some prosecutor, a younger lady, a white lady from, I'm not sure where she went to law school, but this is in Kendall County, right outside of San Antonio. And I'll never forget when we acquitted, did we acquit her as hung jury? I can't remember. But it was funny because when we went to the jury, the after action review, so to speak, she was like flummoxed. Like, I remember she talked to me like, why did you vote for acquittal or whatever it was? I said, because you didn't prove your case, man. And I'll never forget, you could see, like, she was like, huh? Like, she's like, I can't believe I took you on the jury. And if you think about it, if you take 100 middle-aged white guys who are married, 70% of them are going to be conservative, all right? If you take 100 middle-aged black women who are single, probably 90% of them are going to be liberal. So the odds were in her favor that she looked at me, and I'm not even sure if they know I'm a veteran either, but if you take 100 white guys who are married, and if you add veteran status to them, I mean, the vast majority of those people are going to be are going to be conservative. And so the odds are for your favor to say, we're going to, he'll prosecute, he'll vote to be guilty. And I just, so you can't blame her for thinking that, but I remember you could see in her eyes, like she's like sitting there thinking, how did I choose this guy? Why didn't I strike him? And the irony of it all is the jurors I was with, we had this older white guy, he's probably a retiree, and he was just, it was like, he's what I call in the old days, he would have been blatantly racist, and now he hides it. And it was, I'll never forget him saying, he was mad at me because I did not vote to convict. And essentially, it's like they would have never pulled her over if she wasn't doing anything wrong. We wouldn't be going through this if they weren't doing anything wrong. And I was like, dude, have you ever been falsely accused? And then the answer, of course, is no. He had never had been. I said, do you not know what the situation will be once you are falsely accused? And he literally could not believe someone would think that people are falsely accused. It was actually pretty frightening. That guy ticked me off. It's just some old know-it-all. I don't remember I think he wants to say he was in the Navy. I can't remember, but I just don't remember. Just an old know-it-all with all the answers. A crank. And that's what's crazy. You got all these cranks out there in the world who they know everything. And look, I'm very cautious that I could be me in the future when I get older. And I try very, very hard not to be like that, which is why I try to see the other side of the story for the most part. That I will say, I give myself credit that I know the other side of the story of the left because I was raised on the left. My first vote was for Michael Dukakis and Barbara Mikulski. Raised on the left, big time, more than you have been, I'll tell you that right now. And so I'm from the left. I understand it, and that's not where I want to be. I tried to understand the vaccine debate. I looked at the pro and con and the similarities on the vaccine, the climate science debate are just the same. Like if any heretics needs to be banned. And I was just watching a YouTube video of this guy in Australia, taxpayer funded, quote unquote quasi research. They're not going to let anyone who is a denier, a skeptic, be on their website. You can't post comments, you can't post articles because it's hyperbole. I said, wait a second, you guys are the ones who are hyperbolic. I mean, my God, you're saying we're going to die in freaking 10, 15 years. It's insane, but yet that's taxpayer funded. Again, heretics will not be allowed. It's the same thing, and it's the same thing with the vaccine side. So I've researched, I've done the look on both these sides. When it comes to college football, look, man, the SEC they always get automatic bids. So I always try to see the other side of it. I know college football is silly, but it's fun to say, you're just biased against that. I said, no, I'm not biased against that. I like to see the viewpoint of both sides. But when it comes to defense, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, which means you need not do anything to maintain your innocence. They got to prove that you did it. And if they can't prove you did it, you need to quit. That's all there is to it. But they would never arrest you. It's not, if you're not doing anything wrong, you don't have to anything to worry about. That is not, that does not mean anyone guilty. Just because, look at, can you see that dog right there? I don't know if you can see him. There he is. Okay. Oh man, there he is. Can you see him? Let's see. Hey buddy. Yeah, he's a nut. Don't you love him though? But anyway, so if you are not guilty, you don't have anything to worry about. That's not a free country. That's not how it works. If you're not guilty, you have nothing to worry about. A free country says you are innocent until they prove your guilt. So anyway, if you're a prosecutor and you see old Josh coming down the pike, I'm telling you, I default to innocence every single time unless it's overwhelming. And I don't want to hear, well, she said, he said. I always default to innocence unless you can prove it overwhelming evidence. I'm going to be for the defense on the jury every single time, and that's the way most people should be. Not most people, all people should be. You should be for the defense. The prosecution has all the power. They have all the opportunity. That's why they can say they can indict a ham sandwich, because literally they can do whatever they want, and the defense is the one who somehow has got to struggle to validate their own innocence, and that's not the way America should be. It's not the way a free society should be. So I figured I'd share that with you. We'll go back here and see my man, see what he's doing over here. There he is. Look at that guy, just enjoying his fun in the sun. Oh boy, that's old Pablo for you. He's a nugget. All right, we'll see you.